What do Glossy agency decks, high-performing reels, and social campaigns that actually convert have in common? Behind them, there's often a tug-of-war between strategy and content. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. I'm joined by Alex Joyel, the founder of Skyhouse Social and a creator I collaborate with regularly. He's the content brain, I'm the strategy and the ads girl, and together we're sharing what most agencies won't tell you about how social media really works. Kicking off today's episode with someone who knows exactly how to make content that gets people to stop scrolling is Alex. Welcome.
I feel super welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. So Alex Joyel is the founder of Skyhouse Social, a content studio that specializes in high-impact visual storytelling and social-first creativity. We've worked together on multiple projects, blending his eye for content with my focus on ads and funnels. And the best part, our offices are literally right around the corner from each other. So collabs often happen over a quick coffee walk or midweek brainstorm downstairs. Alex is here today to share what agencies don't want you to know about the creator-strategist partnership. So let's back it up a bit. Give us your story and what made you launch Skyhouse Social.
Yeah, well, first of all, again, thank you for having me on the pod. Yeah, so I grew up doing like acting and you know, film.
That's what we have in common, you know.
That's
my theater background and yes.
Chronic theater kids. I'm not like into like theater like shows, but I love live performance.
Exactly.
I love, you know, telling stories.
Yeah, storytelling.
Ugh. No, but I do enjoy that. And so I think it sort of started off as, you know, just wanting to work from home.
Yes.
And not wanting to get in the car and clock in somewhere, which I think is a big draw for a lot of us in sort of our generation, is like, oh, you mean I could just wake up and just start typing away and make money? Like, that's awesome. So that was a draw for me, but then it sort of morphed into like, oh, wait, I can sort of marry creativity with sort of analytics and numbers and see how they kind of work together. I think a lot of times like people who are like artists or creatives first tend to think like, oh, I just want to, you know, make stuff, man.
Right.
I just want to make my art, bro. You know, and they don't realize that you still have to, even as an artist, you got to market your art.
Yes.
There's business. There's like getting
profit to be had. Yes.
There's getting people to see your art. That's very important. So the two things are kind of not mutually exclusive. There's art in the logical number analytical side of things, and there's numbers and analytics in the artistic side of things. And that's why I think digital marketing is a fun marriage of those two things.
Yeah. So I agree. So when you're creating videos, do you have a creative philosophy that you start with, or do you have something that you really like to help you get in the zone?
I think when you start off doing social media and stuff, you sort of look at it, or when you start off making videos or content, whatever, you kind of look at it from your lens. And I think as you mature, you start realizing, oh, people are paying me to return their profit. You know, they're paying me to make money on the money that they paid me. It's not just fun time for me. It's something you sort of grow into as you, or at least I did.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's the balance of being proud of the work and wanting to do the work that you want to put out there, but also what does the client want?
What does the client want? And sometimes beyond what they want, like what do they need?
Yes.
And diagnosing that is like also that comes with maturing into doing this work. My headspace is like, how are we providing value? That's like the thing, that's the umbrella.
Yeah.
It's like how, and I know you'll hear a million digital marketers say that, hopefully.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people who like do their own digital marketing like internally and they don't have somebody with that sort of brain, they think about how to writing trends for the sake of writing trends and just like, you know, putting out what they, a promotion.
Put a post. Yes. A video because someone said you need to post videos.
You need to post every day or whatever. It's like you need to provide value, period. That's it. You don't need to, and I don't know if we disagree on this or not. I'm sure we don't, but it's like, it's not that you don't need to write trends. It's not that you don't need to post frequently. That's also, depending on your goals.
Hand, for sure.
Right.
But
they go
starting with
but it starts from provide value every time. And you'll hear a million people say this. You provide it in the form of entertainment or education. Sometimes you do both. Edutainment, you know.
I think a great example is the videos that you guys have created for General Provision, where our office is. You know, there's a lot of value to be a member here and a lot of value in working here, but people don't necessarily see it or know it. So the creativity that goes into some of the videos that you guys have done has really highlighted those values, but being entertaining. I mean, there's one that everyone still laughs and jokes about with where you have like the coffee or the matcha, and then you have like a milk mustache, and everyone remembers the mustache, but also the fact that, wow, that place has baristas and they have a full cafe.
Yeah.
Like, I want to work there.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about that video is a fun example of like everything I think we stand for, right? It's and we worked a lot with Tim over the time that we've been, you know, sort of collaborating with him to like figure out how to tell sort of a complicated value prop that on paper it's like it's a little complicated. Hey, we offer this and these are the amenities and this is the experience.
But who are you and what are you really?
Exactly. And then packaging that information in a fun way is, I think, like where I find a lot of joy and where I find a lot of like pride in how we tell the story of of brands. You know what I'm saying? So that one was just, you know, I don't know. It was just, how do you make this funny? How do you make it humorous? A lot of times, sorry, if I can just go off on this really quick. If I feel like there's a pressure sometimes on people to try and be funny or try and be comedic. And it's like, if that's not your strength, obviously don't push for it.
Right. It could be inauthentic.
Right. I'm not even necessarily like in that ad. I'm not trying to be funny. You know, it's not an attempt at being funny.
Right.
It's packaging information with a tinge of humor, you know. And that is always going to be more interesting than just saying, we have a 50% off deal or we are offering this promotion. It's like, how do you do it in a way that
selling to the person? Yes, you're adding that value.
And what you're doing for your audience is you're giving them some form of entertainment. So anyway.
Well, thank you for sharing that background and kind of your creative process. We're going to get into it now of what do agencies not want brands and future clients to know. I think there's a lot that we talk about. We talk shop a good amount. And I think it's nice to unveil, you know, some of the topics that we cover with potential clients and companies. So a big thing is, what's a myth that you see that agencies are selling to clients about content or strategy that we do not?
I think one thing that agencies like to, or just a myth in general, is that everybody has to post all the time, every day, no matter what the quality is. You just post. And what I've noticed is that, like, here's how I sort of frame it. Like, if you're an influencer, or if you are the commodity, your face and your name and your personality, your likeness is the commodity. People want to look at you. People want to see what you are already giving value in the form of your likeness.
Right.
So you can afford to post every single day because people are getting value from you.
Yes.
Which is, you know, for better or for worse, that's just what it is, right? When you're a brand, right? You're an HVAC company. You're an insurance company.
Yes.
You're any company.
That's not so sexy.
Yeah. Even if you love Wendy's, right? Wendy's likeness on social media is not necessarily the commodity. What they have, their commodity is their restaurants. It's their food. It's the value they get from the taste, you know, all that stuff.
Yes.
And they're not providing that online.
No.
Okay. So what do they do as a brand? They engage with the public in a funny way, in a comedic way.
We did a case study in an earlier episode about them.
I saw that episode. Yes. They sort of revolutionize the way that brands interact with an audience. But you see, If I was running Wendy's page, I wouldn't necessarily have like a reel every single day because I don't think that
No.
that's going to help your algorithm. You're not
No,
going to
and
teach the
that
algorithm.
goes back to that myth where a lot of agencies, they just see dollar signs. So they're selling to companies and brands like, you need to post every day so we can have the biggest full service retainer and charge you XYZ. And yeah, you'll go viral, or oh yeah, you'll have millions of followers. And it's false.
You know what? I want to touch on that really quick because this is probably the number one point that I should have even thought to mention the first time. There is so much money to be made in digital marketing. There's so much money to be made. And there's so much information and it's so daunting and there's so little education on the people who have the money to pay.
Yes.
There's a chasm of money to be made and money you can charge, and the people don't know what they're paying for.
Yes.
They don't know how to gauge their ROI. They don't know.
No, someone's uncle's niece's sister said that they should be on social media. So
it's very similar. First of all, exactly. Second of all, it's very similar to like a car mechanic or like a chiropractor or whatever that you don't know how your car works. You know, you don't know what's going on with your
you drop it off
C2 vertebrae. You don't know what's going on with all this stuff.
Right.
And they can just keep calling you back in for work that you don't need.
Yeah.
And I would say digital marketing is so oftentimes amorphous and hard to pin down what you're doing and how it should be. It's so specialized to your specific brand that it's hard to even pin. It's hard for even digital marketers to pin down things sometimes.
Yes.
So what they don't want you to, what they gloss over a lot of times, and what I try to be very clear with my clients is that I understand that you don't understand what's going on. So we need to prove to you that that you can not just trust us as people who can get the shit done,
right,
but like as people who will honor every cent that you're paying us.
Yes,
you know
and
what
that's
I'm
why
saying?
reporting matters and meetings matter and having these documents and having numbers, analytics, strategies, because otherwise they're not going to understand. And I think that leads to my next question of like, why do we think a lot of agencies overpromise and underdeliver? What I'm big on, I'll underpromise and overdeliver.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather tell a client, maybe you'll get something and give them all, all the leads that they can, because I don't want to get their hopes up in something that maybe is not our fault.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that ends up being tough too, because sometimes you underpromise and they're like, well, I'm not going to pay if it's going to be that little. And it's like, usually that's bare minimum
Right.
of what you can expect. That's what we can sort of promise. But we're not going to promise you ever go viral. We're not going to promise that you
No, and those people, they get burned, and then they come to
Right.
people like us and they say, I don't trust social media managers. I don't trust agencies. Why should I work with you?
You know, it's funny. I've had somebody ask verbatim that question to me. I got on the phone with them. They were referred to me and they were like, they barely wasted time saying hi to me. And they're like, why am I paying for social media? And I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay, sit down, because there's a lot of reasons. And I think it kind of goes back to like education. Like what I try and do with people too is I not just saying like, hey, I'm going to underpromise and overdeliver, but say like, it's very clear, it's very important that you understand the context in that we're working in right now, okay? This is why you're doing this. It's not just like, hey, you should be doing this. It's like, this is why we're doing it this way. This is what these numbers will mean. In the analytics, this is what it means.
Yes.
Okay? And so also, one last thing. I could yap your ear off, I promise.
There's no last things. We got plenty to talk about.
Okay, good.
Another thing I feel like that agencies sometimes lie to clients about is that social media cannot save their brand if the brand has issues with pricing, if issues with the product. I remember when I was green to this industry, I was working with a bigger agency and they were outsourcing their social media to us. And the sales team sold them the world. And when we were working with them, their product, I mean, it was a paper towel product. So who's ordering custom paper towels where you can just go to Costco and get them? You know, it's hard. You got to find your niche. they didn't really want to niche down to who their customer was either, because they said we're paper towels for everyone. Well, everyone can go to Publix, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's. So who's your audience? Who's your target? All that research has to be done. The customer kind of has to know who they are for the social media to link to it. But I can bring your brand to life. So if you want your brand to be for everyone, we're going to make it look amazing on social media, but it might not get the results you want because you're missing that whole target demographic.
Yeah, this is actually a great point. So I was working on a project one time, and I was working in collaboration with another marketer. And we were working with a client who was incredibly difficult, and in his internal process for the brand was scattered. Long story short, he was running an online nonprofit, but didn't really know much about the internet, and how it works and how digital marketing works. So he was hiring vendors that weren't fit for the job. He was assigning tasks that were not. He was micromanaging everything. It was very difficult. He was in the way of a lot of the what would have otherwise been a great concept, And so I was collaborating with an influencer and her husband, and I were just talking because he had done marketing, for another company. He was like, I was tasked with marketing a launch event, a store opening for a pet store. Okay. So in Miami or something. And he was like, I pulled out all the stops, and we had people lined up around the block to get into this pet store. The owner told me a week later, and sorry if I'm butchering the story if you're seeing this, but the owner told me like a week later that like he came to me yelling at me, upset that nobody's here a week after the opening. And if you went into the store, it was like poorly laid out. It was like the stuff was cheap. Exactly. That he didn't really engage the people. Whatever it was like, I have clear proof that I did my job.
Yes.
And I handed the baton to you, and you did not take it further.
You could bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it.
Exactly. And, something people I think need to understand too is that marketers are not a sales team.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We're not salesmen. There's a Venn diagram. There's something salesy about the way you market and brand things.
It fits into the funnel.
Exactly. But it's not our job to hand the baton to ourselves and also be your internal team. Yes. We are the external team. We unless it is actually physically internal, but when you hire a marketing vendor, it's like we are doing our best to get everybody to the door, lined outside the door. There's your people.
Yes.
Our work is done.
People are afraid to tell that to clients, and you and I are not. We'll definitely tell clients this, and we'll explain the strategy. Like you said, education. It really boils down to education. Yep. And when the client knows and understands, then they feel comfortable and they trust you.
Right.
But you have a lot of agencies or people who are desperate for sales and numbers or to hit their quota, or they have bills to pay, and they're not going to tell clients this. Yeah. And that's where that frustration comes.
Well, it's funny because that same client that I was referring to, I would get up every single day from my bed. And I would dread having to talk to...
We've all had clients like this.
Oh my gosh. I would dread it every single day because it was like, nothing I do is working. Nothing I do is good enough. Nothing... And
their brand needs the overhaul.
They need to overhaul internally.
Yes.
And I talked to a bunch of different vendors around this one brand, and it was like they all had the same experience, and it goes back to what happens internally. So my point with that is like there is no single there's no dollar amount you can give me that if it seems like not a good relationship, there's no dollar amount to me because I'm going to wake up every day. Now I've made it so that all my clients, I don't wake up ever. I wake up excited to serve them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And it takes that experience and time working in the industry to get there. Like I remember having one client that I told her, I'm like, look, you can't be the first person I talk to in the morning and the last person I talk to at night.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to create
we
boundaries.
we can't do this.
Yeah.
But I think when you're young and green, and I think also COVID time, like it blurred
Sure.
the work hours. You just do it, and then you learn that that's no matter how much you do, you can't save that business. And I think that a lot of people don't get told the truth.
Yeah, it was it. And I feel like I was very fortunate that that was like my second or third client ever.
Yes,
So
you learned.
So it was like having a really bad girlfriend. It was the first
Breakup,
girlfriend
yeah.
was the worst, the person who treated you the worst or whatever.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh, I'm never gonna do that again. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I think in a weird way, I was fortunate to have that bad relationship up front, so that I'm like, oh, I'll never.
Yeah, red flag, red flag.
Red
city.
flag.
Yeah.
Whenever I see red flag, is like, you could pay me $100,000 a month. It's just not worth it to me. You know.
Agreed. In a perfect world, what does a balance look like between content and strategy?
I go back to branding and marketing. You could dispute the way I'm defining these two things, but the way I look at marketing is like I would look at marketing as like the paid strategy and the actual like plan and
Sales funnels.
the funnels and the amount that you're putting in and all that stuff, like your
Touch
ROI,
points,
your
yes,
touch
yes.
points, all this stuff, your campaign even. And then I would look at the branding as like just the way you tell your story and the way you want people to feel about your company, right? And so, you know, marketing would say we need to run a promotion. We need to get people to know about, you know, we're doing 50% off membership.
Black Friday.
Yeah,
or
Black
here,
Friday,
yes,
whatever.
Right.
But then the way you tell that story, your tone, whether you do something more humorous or not. Like I use humor as an example because I think that's what we get called in for.
Yeah, I think Publix is a good example, and they do like the very sentimental ones around the holidays.
Exactly. That's branding. You know, people will say branding is how people feel about your company. It's like, yeah, sure, that's an element of branding, but I also think it's just the way you tell your story. It's the box you package the value in, right?
Yeah, that's why I think you need the balance is important. It's finding what I think every business is going to teeter on, you know, whether they lead more into the content, more into the strategy, but you need both to succeed.
Exactly. Yeah, and some people, I feel like most people lean marketing heavy. They say,
because they get nervous about sales, dollar signs, but they don't realize the branding is probably going to have the longer term ROI.
The thing is, exactly. And ROI is such an important part of this too, because in marketing, you can sort of quantify your ROI or like with paid ads or whatever.
Right.
First of all, we know that they go hand in hand, obviously. You can't really have one without the other.
No.
Right. But I think people lean on like, hey, 50% off. Isn't that enough?
Right.
You know, and it's like people don't care
It's
yet.
a great deal.
Fine.
Why are they not buying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fine. You're just another barbershop. You're just another blank doing 50% off or 30% off or a Black Friday. You're just another company doing this.
Right.
And branding says, well, here's why we're not just another company doing this.
Yes.
Here's why we're either the company doing this or like a company more tailored for you that is offering this value. And on the other hand, when people just ride trends organically on social media, when people are when they're just posting the post like we talked about earlier, that is like an attempt at branding, I think, that is not rooted in any sort of marketing strategy. You know?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, here's a trending sound and, you know, we're going to do some little dance or we're going to, you know, do a little prank that's been going viral. It's like, what are you doing differently than the other 30 million people doing the same thing that had the same idea?
What sets you apart?
What sets you apart and why? Why is a big question in life.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't just stop at why do we exist and why do we do this and why do our brains and bodies it's like, why? What is the goal of this video? What is the goal of this strategy? Like why every single time? You know, that's where I operate from. When you ask me, like when I make content or shoot content or plan it, it's like, why?
Yeah.
I have an aversion to doing things just doing. just to do them.
Yes.
You know, it gets me anxious and angry.
Yes. And the content's not great when you're just doing it to do it.
Exactly.
Something else I want to bring up is I feel like we're both around the office, people who know us, we're both very energetic about what we do. We're very happy to be here. I think we both love the work that we do, and it feeds off. And why do you feel like you have that still? I mean, I know I've been in this for almost 8 years, so I feel like why I love it constantly changes, but what makes you excited about the work that you're doing?
I think even more recently, I've had more and more opportunities to really be creative, like step out of the like more analytical side of things or the ads and just the marketing side of things. I have been blessed to like move into the more creative and branding side of things, which I think is my forte, you know?
Yes, I agree.
So it's so funny. I was telling this to somebody the other day. You know, I'm an actor at heart. Like I'm a creative at heart, obviously. And I think it goes back to what I said initially. Like people with that heart tend to say, I'm selling out because I'm not doing my art, man. But it's like, I have found a way to be artful in my career,
and make
you
a
know,
living of it.
and make a living, and then have people come up to me and be like, I love that video. I love the friggin' milk mustache. I love this and that. Like, that is scratching the same itch for me that making funny sketches with my friends or like doing theater or being in some film. It's scratching the same itch for me, you know? So I don't feel like I'm sacrificing my art. And that's what excites me about it, because it's like I'm still doing oh, wait a second. This whole time I had the opportunity to do the thing that I have always wanted to do, and people see it and people recognize it and me feel pride about it. You know what I'm saying? And then to that point, sorry, really quick. To that point, everything we do is artful. I know that's kind of woo-woo and
No, I get what you're saying.
But even if you are any craft that you have, whether it's plumbing or HVAC, and there's a way in which you do it. If you have pride in it, and if it is a craft to some degree, anything can be artful. It's just true. Sorry, not anything can be artful. Everything is artful.
Yes,
you know,
I follow where you're going.
So
with
it's just like it's easier to be more artistic. In like branding and videos and content. You know what I'm saying? So that's what makes me excited, is that I don't have to sacrifice any of what makes me excited to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
I think as I've done this business for years now, for me, I love the opposite side of it. I love the data, the analytics. I like to come up with systems. My brain is very pragmatic in that side, even though theater background. So it's finding collaborators like you all and Adam Lalani, who's on an earlier episode, of people who like to create the content, me who likes to create the systems and work together. And then that's where that joy comes in, because you're not doing something you don't love doing. And then you're also getting to work with people. And I think a lot of it is the people and is the business and being around like-minded people to have a successful goal.
And I think it's funny you mentioned like you enjoy sort of the analytical side of things, because it's gratifying to kind of have like quantifiable feedback on the success of your creativity, you know? Whereas a lot of artists or art, like you don't always get to see that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't get to see the numbers on why your milk mustache video, why those efforts.
Yes.
You don't always get to see why your art is working, you know? So
it's true. So we end every episode with 2 questions for all our guests. So you're up for these 2 questions. The first one is, what's your current favorite social media platform and why?
It's a good one. I think TikTok. I'm a chronic doom scroller.
It's
just
mine.
Perfect.
You know, you can set it to auto scroll.
What do you mean?
You can set it to
just
auto
when
scroll.
it's done, it just goes.
To the next.
You should not share that with anyone, because now you just ruined America. They didn't know that until you told them. So now we're all gonna doom scroll forever.
Yeah, only doing my makeup to TikTok videos, scrolling.
You just ruined my life. Now I have to doom scroll forever. I'm not going to get any work done.
But really, I think TikTok is interesting because you can learn a recipe. You can learn a trick for social media. You can also just laugh. Like, it's never ending.
Yeah.
So I get why it's your favorite.
And also, it's more than just for like businesses. It's democratized speech. You know, it's democratized, like having a platform.
Yes.
There's no barrier now. It's just your own uniqueness that makes you, and for better, or for worse.
Yeah.
Plenty of for worse, but so many for better. Like we are privy to so much of what's going on in the world, what's going on with people who look and sound and are different than us. Like I think that is a big positive for you know, people who are not center stage in our society, you know.
I agree. And then the next question is, what's one social media trend you wish would just go away?
People not realizing that marketing on social media is not like it's not a choice whether to provide value or not. It's not like, well, I could just like write some trend and then like keep posting about like, you know, meet the team and we got happy Labor Day on your Instagram feed and doing graphics like that and being like 50% off and 40% off and all that stuff. People not realizing that this is TV now.
Yeah.
Social media is television.
Social.
Right?
Yes.
It's television that you can speak to and talk to.
Yes.
Okay? It's interactive. And when you post about stuff that is not giving value, you're a commercial. And what do we do with commercials when we're watching TV?
We fast forward them.
We tune out.
Yep.
Unless the commercial is also fun and funny and value driven.
Yes.
Right? So, for example, like you would watch SpongeBob on a Saturday and then you would tune out and go get a snack while the commercials were on. But during the Super Bowl, people realized that like some people just watch the Super Bowl for the commercials.
Yes.
Why is that? Because the commercials are entertaining. Now the commercials are giving you the opportunity to laugh, to cry,
So
or whatever.
I think in short, the trend that you wish would go away is people not taking advantage of that platform for what it's meant to be.
People not taking advantage for what it's meant to be and not realizing that it is television now and you're a commercial if you're not the show.
I love that. That's the big quote right here. Literally. Alex, thank you so much for joining me today and for being willing to share the truth about how agencies and creators can actually work together to deliver results. Where can listeners follow your work and connect with Skyhouse Social?
We're on Instagram. We got our website, Skyhouse Social. There's nobody with the same name, so you just type in Skyhouse Social and
I'll tag it in the show notes.
Sounds good.
And thanks again. You're officially a part of the herd.